we're gonna just do kind of an assessment to see what you're looking for.
Yeah, I guess maybe there was a miscommunication. Maybe you can clear it up for me. But in my last appointment with Henderson, I recommended some talk therapy, and I thought that was it. But this, my understanding, is an intake for talk therapy or an evaluation and assessment for a possible diagnosis. That's my understanding from the front desk. Mind if I sit over here?
I'd love for you to sit over there, actually. That's more comfortable.
It's easier to hold the phone.
Okay, so, yeah, it sounds like there's been some communication issues or something going on with, here.
I was just going over, okay, so I am a patient here at Laureate with Dr. Henderson.
Okay.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and if my understanding is wrong. My understanding was I recommended to him to get me some talk therapy through Laureate.
Okay.
And then my understanding, you see, my wife does all the MyChart stuff, log in records. I don't do that stuff, and that's kind of causing some problems and some miscommunication. So I just want to be clear. But then, like I told you when I first got in here, my understanding is this is an evaluation for talk therapy from a recommendation I made to Dr. Henderson. But there also could be, since you are a doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
Oh, see, I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor.
Okay,
I'm a therapist.
because they told me that, but you can diagnose. You have that ability?
Yeah, I can diagnose.
Okay,
sure.
So they told me, so you're not a doctor, you're a therapist, but you have the ability to diagnose during this evaluation.
Sure.
Whatever that is.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to, really, this is just to find out kind of what you're looking for and what
Just
we can
wanted to
do
be
for
clear.
you.
Okay, yeah, so I'll be honest and transparent with you, man.
Okay, cool.
And I'll tell you the truth, because if you did review that records request I just gave you, there is a miscommunication with Laureate, because I had provided the same written request to Dr. Henderson, a couple months ago, and my request, okay, so then his secretary said, no, I can't accept this handwritten request. So I said, oh, no problem, okay? But she has a form I can fill out. I said, okay, well, give me your Laureate form. I'm gonna fill that out, and I'm gonna attach this handwritten request to it, and then I'm documenting that you're accepting it and receiving it, which they did. And then I've never heard anything back from it, but I have an inclination to think that my request of all patient medical records, including therapy notes, was uploaded electronically to my MyChart. But I need to verify that. But I have had no response to my request in writing on my handwritten and my Laureate form.
Have you called him?
No, I'm gonna make them. That's what I'm doing now, is I'm making you aware that this has happened, and then my next step, if we can't get it resolved, is to immediately file a civil service complaint, because we're well over the 10-day threshold.
Okay, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Man.
Right, correct. But then you guys would, that's how I think, yeah, that would be great. But I don't want to do that, obviously. I can do whatever I want. I don't want to do that.
No.
What I want is all my medical records, including therapy notes, from this facility.
Okay.
And I think as a patient, I have the right to that.
Yeah, you have a right to do whatever you want. Absolutely.
No, I have a right to my records.
Absolutely.
And for Laureate to provide them to me within 10 days under the
Absolutely.
statutes of law.
Absolutely.
Correct.
You can have your records.
I'm
You
glad.
can have this
So yeah, I'm
knowledge.
glad that you see that as a
As much.
miscommunication or a violation
Absolutely.
as well.
Yeah.
So
Now, I'm not the type of, I'm
right.
not the guy.
We're not here to conduct
Yeah,
that
we're not-
business.
Yeah,
But I'm making you aware in the appointment for your notes, because I think it's very important that business will be conducted, and that business is causing a lot of hardship.
Okay.
We're going to document that.
Sure. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so what brings you here for therapy?
My wife's forcing me, and my mother. A domestic violence call, Friday the 15th, approximately 9:30 hours a.m.
Okay.
But the reason, that's like a big kicker that you're talking about. That'll help us sort things out. But what I'm here for, my understanding is I made a request to Dr. Henderson in December of 2025, telling him to recommend me to, please recommend me, because I lost Isabel, who was my current talk therapy provider over webcam or whatever company she was with, changed jobs, and we couldn't get a hold of her, okay?
Okay.
So then I went to Dr. Henderson, I'm telling him, hey man, I need some talk therapy, preferably, somebody I can meet in person and then have it virtual, and go back and forth because I don't have anybody to talk to, and I told him that I believe that service would, you know.
Okay, so you want therapy, but you're
I want talk therapy.
yeah, but your family's making you do it too.
No, okay, that's well, we'll get into that. Okay, so now here I have more problems, and this goes back to Lori at St. Francis, my chart stuff. Okay, so my wife and her mother, they do all my paperwork for setting all my appointments, so they think I need to see a doctor, so they'll schedule everything for me, and you know, set it up, and I don't have to deal with the my chart or the electronic stuff. Okay. And then for Dr. Henderson, my wife was starting to come into my medical appointments. Okay, and I didn't want that.
Okay.
But she signed a waiver. But she's forging my signature on the waiver. Okay? Fine, she wants to be in there. But then I tell Dr. Henderson, hey, I told him in December, I don't want her in here. She's coming into the appointment. She's doing all the talking. She's forcing the med stuff, and you know, I made a records request, and it's just scary. So this has been going on for years. I have everything documented. I have a clear case where I can prove myself to be a strong, competent man.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering why you're not using why you don't have your own mind chart. Why you're
That's a huge red flags, right?
absolutely.
Huge red
Are you
flags.
kidding me?
Yeah, and then
You're very capable of doing all this on your own, right?
right. If I thought I needed to seek help, but I don't. I'm being forced to.
Then don't seek it, man. You can set boundaries. You know why do you want
I
to
did. Well, that's what I did. I gave them the trust because they wanted to get me help. Okay, so I said, here, I'll do all this stuff for you. And then it started to get a bit controlling. And then when I wouldn't allow my wife back into my appointments.
Well, okay. You can make those decisions. You can
I
say,
did,
"Hey, I
and
don't
it
want
caused major problems. I explained HIPAA law. I explained it's against the law. I explained to her that she was breaking the law.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
It doesn't say anything. My mom and her sister, I have it all on video for the domestic violence call. They're trying to get me diagnosed and committed so I'll take pills and stop arguing with them. Okay? But they're breaking the law, not me. Okay, so they called the cops
Okay.
to have me removed from my home. That's deprivation of rights under color of law. Okay? And then I have other documentation where you're having your daughter and the kids leave because you're saying, go do a 72-hour lockdown intake right now or move out. So we have huge violations of landlord-tenant law. You know, if they want to kick me out, that's fine. Serve me 72 hours notice in writing and I'll be out in 33 days. You know, but it's against the law and it's illegal. It's my domicile, 5 years, for you to kick me out, to force me out, or to force me to hospitalization. It's deprivation of rights under color of law, and it's a serious crime, and it's all documented.
Okay.
I don't want to throw my wife and her mom in jail, but who's the victim in this situation?
Well, okay. First of all, I think that if you don't want to do therapy, it's not going to work.
No, I want
Okay.
talk therapy.
Okay.
Right? I got to get this stuff sorted out because talk therapy is going to give me the correct diagnosis, and that's going to prove to my family, and I'm going to show them these things that, hey, this is the situation from looking up here. Okay, this is the totality of the situation. What you guys are doing are wrong.
What kind of diagnosis are you looking for? I mean, what kind of diagnosis do you think you have?
I've made myself very clear to Dr. Henderson that I disagree with his bipolar diagnosis.
Okay.
Okay, I recorded the last appointment.
I'm not going to be with you enough to give you a bipolar diagnosis anyway.
Right. Okay, that's cool. But you know, I have an appointment with Dr. Henderson today.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go back to Henderson, request the records, and then so what's the policy and procedure? Somebody has a grievance, or if they want to have peer reviewed to possibly change a diagnosis, because the United States military is, I fill out the application, I'm accepted, everything's ready to go. I'll go to MEBS, you know, do the stuff, right? And I'm about 43. So I got 6 months before I can no longer require service. The United States military says there's 2 routes to go about doing this. Okay, so I'm going the most direct route. The military wants me in their service, and I want to be in their service, and it's difficult to get in with a bipolar diagnosis. And I made myself very clear in December of 2025 in that recorded doctor's appointment that I did not agree with that diagnosis.
The bipolar diagnosis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And as a therapist, there's nothing I can do about that diagnosis, because that's his.
I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm only asking you for direction and how to help. I'm not asking you to change anything. I'm not even here because I think you'll change anything or get a diagnosis.
Sure.
I'm only here to see another provider from this facility to document, let them know what's going on. At the same time, I'm seeking my talk therapy, and at the same time, I'm filing for my medical records and whatever the policy and procedure is to get to Dr. Henderson, to have him look at possibly changing that diagnosis so I can enter military service with the U.S. Army. That is why I'm here.
Okay. And but you also want somebody to talk to about your
And honestly, more than once a month.
Yeah.
Like once a month is minimum. 2 weeks till I'm comfortable, then once a month. But yeah, talk therapy is important for my mental health. As is patient rights and records requests.
Sure.
Because this is a big thing, if I don't make this, if I don't make the cut to the U.S. Army, I'm going to have to change my life plan. So this is the most important thing that is happening in my life right now. My marriage is falling apart for the stuff I told you, and then going to boot camp. Okay? Yeah. So you're talking serious. You're a therapist, so you know what kind of emotion, life stuff, what kind of pressures, what kind of intensity that one would be going through there, and then look at how this individual is handling those pressures.
Sure, because they look at your mental health.
Because normal humans that aren't strong, they can't come in here and do what I'm doing. It's too much, like in all the police contact and the domestic violence and all these family nucleus problems, that are then coming to the hospital. Because why? Because there's other people in your house that are diagnosing your mental health. There's other people in your house that are your mother-in-law and your wife, and they're not professional service providers. They don't even have any knowledge or training. I have a lot of knowledge and training. I've been in the foster care world a long time. I have 2 kids from adoption.
Okay.
I need kids with disabilities.
All I'm trying to do is trying to think of what therapists I can give you.
Yeah.
That's what's going on in my head.
Well, see, I told you a little bit about me, so maybe one with military experience. I like men. I tend to do better with men as opposed to women.
Okay.
And I tend to do better with one. Who will because if I was going to mass 5-6 days a week, working out 3 days a week, watching my nutrition.
You Catholic?
Yeah, huge Catholic. So yeah, put it on. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
That.
I think I got somebody for you. Okay.
Perfect. And then also, I'm not happy with our current marriage counseling provider. Okay. So if you have anything for marriage counseling in this place, I could do some follow up on that.
I'll tell you what. Let's get you with Kevin, and then I think that. He can probably help you with that. We'll get you an appointment with him. He's going to be your therapist because we're just doing an assessment.
What's his name?
Kevin.
Kevin
Stevenson.
All right, I'll look him up. Okay. Kevin Stevenson. But yeah, and then so is Dr. Henderson's not a therapist, I guess?
No, he's a psychiatrist.
Right, so I'm not allowed to have appointments with him, only medication management, and then maybe revisit the initial diagnosis.
That's the medication. Yeah, are you taking meds? Is he giving you meds for bipolar?
He's prescribing me meds, but I specifically told him, hey, I don't want to take these, I only want to take them because my wife's in the thing. So he prescribes them. I didn't. We agreed that I wouldn't take them only if my wife made me, and then my wife started making me, so we had some problems.
Okay.
And that's when all the problems started. Is when my wife started making me take the pills.
Gotcha.
Okay. About 60 days.
What's your name again?
Station Master.
I'm sorry?
Station Master.
That's your name?
Yeah.
This is Dick Scarlett.
Well, shit. Do I look like a Scarlett to you?
Justin
Justin Dick is the patient name. It's all over the record. So you have Scarlett as my patient? As the patient? That's my wife.
That's your just your insurance.
Oh, that's just the insurance.
Yeah,
that's my
just
wife.
insurance. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you thought my name was Scarlett.
I wasn't station master. Okay.
I'm the ATSF station master, man. I bought an old railroad antique Victorian brick house
All right.
in Winfield, Kansas. It was the ATSF station master's house from 1872 to 1913.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, man. A lot of history, a lot of good stuff. I like traditional building. You know who Vitruvius is?
I'm sorry.
Vitruvius. You know who Vitruvius is?
Uh-uh.
He wrote the books of architecture, 10 books.
Mm-mm.
What about Thomas Aquinas?
I know who he is. Yeah, I know who he is. Station master moves. Okay, he's got. Let's see. And then you have Blue Cross Blue Shield. Okay, man.
Jungian integration.
I love it. I love Young.
Carl Jung. I thought
Carl
it was
Jung.
Jung, is that it?
Yes. Yeah.
Here, Calvinist.
the
Is he a
gentleman.
Calvinist? I was just reading something about here.
I don't think it's
That's
Calvin.
Calvin's Calvin. But, let me see what this is all about. Jung. Yeah, I know Jung, man.